Hey, it's Chappie's Crypto here again with my episode 6 of my trading journal. So, for people that follow me, you know that I, at the end of each of my trading sessions for the last week or two, have been just doing a bit of a review of what's been going on in my trading. And I've just finished a very quick session this morning, or it's late night Australia time, early morning New York. And I caught a really nice little trade to start off the session. And that's it. I didn't actually trade yesterday. It was FOMC news in the afternoon, so took advice from ICT just to keep out of the market, which I did. And I'm glad I did because I looked back at the markets last night or this morning, and it was a bit of a bloodbath in regards to I wouldn't have picked up any. It wasn't bloodbath, but I wouldn't have picked up any trades because there was no real signals. So some got a nice early night. And it's currently 11:58 p.m. in Australia, and I've just finished my session. So I'll just quickly go through what I did. This is the daily chart of the Nasdaq Micro E-mini futures contract. And I'm using TradingView to do this at the moment. So on the daily chart, when you look at this, I'll just give a quick squeeze of. I did watch ICT's market review. At the moment he's generally does a bit of a market review almost daily, where he just goes through what he saw overnight and what he thinks might be coming. And he had a feeling that the price may be drawn this direction to possibly come up and take out some of these liquidity, or particularly this is an area of interest. When I look back at this as well, for me there was two interesting things to look at. And because what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do initially, is work out what my daily bias is going to be, so that I've got a bit more of a tendency to go a particular direction. And when I looked at this, there was two things for me that I just, based on my current knowledge, I was looking at, thinking, is this what's going to happen here? So for me, we've got this point of interest here, so this area here, and we've also got this. This is possibly, or look like we've got we've got two highs very close to each other here, and is price going to come up, take some of this liquidity, then head back down? So that's what I was thinking. I was sort of long biased, and to be really honest, my bias was formed based on the ICT trader. I would just watch this market review. So that's the daily chart. What I did is I went down to the 15-minute chart next, and what I do is I generally mark off, and this is based on what I've been learning through and watching his videos. I mark the price at midnight, so I can work out, using the concept of power of three, where the price was at the midnight time. So I actually go right down to the 1 minute chart, and I marked off this area here, just here. So that's that midnight in New York time. So for people that aren't familiar, hopefully you are, but on the ICT sort of process that he teaches, he talks about making a note of the price at midnight, which is just here. So I drew a line on there. I've actually got a little piece of text here that says price at midnight. And then what I was doing is I start to watch the price action when it comes to 8:30 New York time. I also marked off the low on the 15-minute chart. So if you click on the 15-minute, I'll change the time frame to that. I'll just reset this. And we look at the 15-minute chart. What I did was I marked the previous low before market open at 8:30, and I also paid attention to the market high. So what I'm thinking is going to happen here is I'm thinking the price is possibly going to do this, going to come down this direction, do this, hopefully get this and do that. That's what I'm looking for. So that's generally the setup that would be nice. If that plays out, I'll be super happy. Lucky for me, it did. So just remember once again that I am playing with just a demo account. So I'm trading with a demo account. I'm not using real money at the moment. So 15-minute chart, I've got my thesis of where I think the market's going to do. Interestingly for me, I was very interested to note that on the 15-minute chart, we've got a fair value gap here, and we've also got one here. That's the back of my mind. So those are points of interest, and this is live chart right now, so you can see where the price is actually being drawn to already. So we'll get into the 1 minute chart, and when I was looking at the 1 minute chart here, what I did is I noted this. So we saw this nice little whip up. So big whip up, breakdown here. If you zoom back, you'll notice that actually hit, even on the 1 minute chart, we've got this fair value gap. It came down to that point. And then for me, I started to get very, very interested in this. And in my head, I'm thinking, you know what, if price comes in and does this, if it breaks past this point, we've got a market structure break, and all I need to do is come back and take this fair value gap. So I place a limit order buy or long just there, hoping that we'd see. Now, this is my first trade for the day, and turns out to be my only trade. I actually placed 6 micro E-mini contracts on my demo account at that point, and I had a very wide stop loss. So that was where I had my stop, heaps of heat. So if price had come down here, I would have taken a pretty big hit on my account. I've had a pretty good week and a half, so I was prepared to let this one play a little bit. And I was fairly confident because the setup looked pretty solid. Remembering that on the 15-minute chart, I'd seen that fair value gap, so I was pretty keen to see where this one played out. So anyway, so remembering I placed it along there, I'm just going to go in my settings. On TradingView, if you go into your settings, you can actually turn on and off your execution. So I'm just going to turn that on so you can see where my actual trades were placed. So you can see just here on this candle is where I placed my buy of 6 micro contracts at 12.54. 12.55.4. So a pretty good entry. It's pretty conservative, as even that's where the trade was placed. So I'll just mark that off there. So that's where I went in. Remember, my stop was down here. I probably could have placed my stop there to not have quite as much heat. And where was my target? Well, when I went back on the chart on the 1 minute, I actually decided, because I noted back here we've got this nice beautiful fair value gap just here, and so when you see this, we've got this nice fair value gap here. We've got this point, this high, this liquidity, this draw on liquidity, and so I just had the feeling that this is going to be a really interesting place to target. So that was my first target. So I placed a sell limit order for 3 contracts to execute at that level, which it did. It actually shot up there quite nicely, quite quickly. I was actually down about $180 down here, but the price moved pretty rapidly after that and took out a nice, I was super stoked with that. 3, or actually, it was an order to get rid of 3 at one time, and it actually executed one straight after each other, obviously, in the demo account, remembering. Now, I'm not an overly patient person, and I thought, you know, this is too good to be true. So even though when I looked at my setup, I actually had 1 limit order there, and I placed another limit order up here to sell there. When price got up to just above this area, and I'll show you what I mean here. So all this price action here, once price got up to there, I said, you know what, this is too good for you. Let's just take profit when profit presents itself. And so I closed out the rest of the order. And that was it. That was it for my trading session. Now, full transparency, my trading session 2 days ago, I actually finished my stream saying I was only down $24, which I was for that session. And I mentioned on the end of my stream that I may take another order if it goes to a particular point. I had my bias wrong on that session, and I did take another trade after the stream, and I ended up losing about $200 on that last trade for that session. So my account was down a little based after that session, although overall we're up. But if we show our trading account at the moment, and we've had an awesome session. I'm super stoked. So 12,864 is how we've finished up on that session. So good session, 1 trade. That'll do me for tonight. I'll keep an eye on the market, but I won't place any trades. I'll keep my accountable to that, because I'll face up if I've done anything wrong there. But that's it for tonight. So 1 nice quick setup, ICT trade. I think that's, you could probably refer to that as a textbook trade. Market structure break down into fair value gap, just here, place a nice conservative entry. You could have possibly, if you wanted to, you possibly could have made a decision to come about halfway down this candle and maybe place an order there, and that's also something that can work as well. And you can use the Fibonacci tool to just measure at halfway point. So if you did that, you could have placed your order there, which would have got me a much better entry point, and you would have had a much more conservative stop loss. But at the moment, as I said, I'm training, I'm learning, and super stoked with that. So that's it for this session. Nice, quick, short, sharp, and there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to sharing my next trading journey on my next session that I'll expect to be back online again tomorrow night. So until then, it's Chappie's Crypto. Bye for now.